What's up everybody, I'm Jesse Showalter, and in this episode we're going to be building a video game live streaming mobile application. We'll be using Figma to do it, learning some Figma tips and tricks and some basic user interface design tips along the way. Really excited to do it. Let's get started. Before we go too far, I want to say thank you to the sponsor of today's video, and that is Flexispot, who have kindly given me this amazing ergonomic office chair that I'm sitting in currently. This is the Soutine ergonomic office chair, and it has lots of really good things going for it. It has this 3D lumbar support built directly into the back of it, super comfortable on my back. Has these cushioned 4D armrests that move all over the place. And they work really well for my arms, as well as this breathable mesh and the ability to adjust this chair anywhere and everywhere, depth, height, alignment, tilt, all that stuff. So if you're looking for a really good office chair, check out the Flexispot ergonomic office chair. I'll leave a link down in the description. With all that being said, let's get started. Let's jump in to our project. We have Figma open, and I have an artboard, a basic artboard of 414 by 896 on my canvas, and I have just a couple of elements there as well. For instance, I have this, I just have some typography, and I have an avatar there. Down below, I have some elements, like I have some text that we're going to put into a menu bar, and I also have some icons that we're going to make this whole thing kind of happen. So the idea is to create a streaming platform, or like a streaming application, where people can kind of scroll through, browse their favorite games, and find current live streams that are happening for them. All right, so with that being said, let's start working on this nav bar. And usually we would just kind of draw a big rectangle and start slapping things into a group or a rectangle, but we don't want to do that. We want to start using auto layout for all of this stuff. So I'm going to bring these icons onto my artboard and kind of line them up. I love this red color that we have going on here. So we're just going to make sure that we reuse that red color. So let's just kind of come in here and grab our color picker. We have an active state here, and we're just going to make sure that our text is lined up. And then we're going to grab each one of these and just hit Shift A. And we're going to set the alignment to be in the center like that for each one of them. Shift A, and then setting the alignment, Shift A, and then boom, setting the alignment. With all three of those selected, we are then going to hit Shift A across the entire thing. And then I want to come in to my spacing area and just put space between. This is going to allow me to stretch out my nav bar. But what I'm also going to want to do is just put a little bit of padding around this thing, something like that, because any auto layout inside of Figma is also a frame which we're able to style. So I'm going to style the frame with maybe just like a little bit of this off gray color. That'll work out good for us. And then I'll put just a little bit more padding. Now we can do special padding on the sides, and doesn't have to be the same on the top and on the bottom. That way we have this nice big padding there. We could stretch this thing out, and then everything is lined up perfectly. Everything's kept straight. Whether this becomes an iPad application or a mobile application, everything's going to work out perfectly. So maybe we just put a little bit more padding on the top and bottom and move this thing up into place. That's perfect. We're going to call this one our nav, and we're going to lock this and keep this on top. And what we also want to do is just fix position when scrolling. So anything that we do underneath it, it's just going to scroll just behind the whole thing. You can see we have fixed and scrolls down below. We have this area that's scrolling. We're just going to call this our header. And then down below, we probably want to have like some switches for like all games or active games or something like that. So let's do something similar that we did down below. I'm going to unlock this because I'm going to steal some typography really quickly. And let's come up to the top and just paste this word stream. It tried to paste it into our auto layout there. We don't need it to be there. We can put something like all games here. And then we're going to want to create some sort of little icon. So why don't we just hit O for oval. I'm going to drag one out. I'm going to take the fill off of it and leave the stroke. So we have something like this going on, and this That'll work. Let's do that. Let's make this an active state or an active version. Okay, so we're gonna bring the size of this thing down like that. Copy and paste another one. Let's bring it inside, and this time let's fill it. So I think we want both the fill and the border on this guy to be that red color. So let's just hit I for eye picker and come down and pick out our red color that we had going on there. That'll work just fine. And we can come in here and make sure we take the stroke off of this one. Okay, so that's all games. I'll tell you what, we're just going to group that together, and then you guessed it, Shift A to make an auto layout out of those. Let's just center align everything, and we'll do something similar, right? We'll just hit 10 pixels, and why don't we actually just curve the borders of these so that when we add our fill, you can see it's kind of like a rounded pill style button. I'm gonna hit I for eye picker and just pick that gray color, and now we have a little bit of there's just something going on there, like something fun as far as like a little pill style button. Let's go 30 pixels on the left and right, 10 on the top and bottom, and then we'll just line that up you know, to our text there. We'll do another one right over here, and let's do active. And what we can do is come in here and delete this guy and just turn our outer line to kind of like an inactive gray, something like that. This should say not active. Oh yeah, inactive. Now let's just keep it as active. I don't quite know. Maybe we had some better plans for it, but we'll just do something like that. Okay, great. So we have active, and this shouldn't say all games. This should say active, and this can say inactive. There we go. That makes a lot more sense. And we'll just kind of tighten those up. 16 pixels of alignment there. Let's put Shift A, put these into an auto layout. That means we can also swap these really easily with the auto layout if we want to. So that's working pretty good. You can see, I could also imagine like maybe we have other filters here and we could do horizontal scroll in it. So we'll do something like that. Then next, why don't we do, I'm going to do, let's see, a frame. So I'm going to hit F for frame. I'm going to draw one out here. Now I could get real auto layout crazy, so I don't want to get too crazy, so I won't make every single thing in auto layout, even though it's a pretty good idea. I really enjoy it. So let's come in here and just give this something like a blue background right now so we can see it, and then we'll just add some border radius to it. I want these to be each one of our games, and I want to do something kind of fun and three-dimensional here. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to add one more element. That's going to be an image. And I'm going to go into all my assets that I have prepared for this, and I'm going to grab one of my Rocket League images and just drag that in. And then what do we want to do with that image? We are going to want to do a little bit of lighten, maybe overlay. There we go, something like that. And then just take the opacity of that image down. Okay. I also have this really great kind of cut out PNG of a car. So I'm going to drag this thing in, and as soon as you drag it into the frame, it cuts it off. That's the nature of frames, but you can change that nature by saying clip content. We don't want to clip content. We want to let things kind of fly out and be a little bit fun and a little bit three-dimensional here. So let's, not super big, but just I like some tires and some fender kind of hanging over the side. That could be kind of fun. So let's click inside of our frame, and we'll just put like a name down here. So like Rocket League. And why don't we do another one underneath? How about like 138 streams, okay? Something like that are currently active. And then we'll just, a little bit of context or contrast, excuse me, for our typography. Let's go a bold there and a semi-bold. This is looking pretty good. And now we have a little element that we can move around, duplicate, do another one of these, and a little bit of spacing, something like that. So this one could be like Dota, and this one could be, let's see, let's do Warzone down here. And then all you have to do is really just change all these little elements to what you want. So if we had Dota over here, we want to get our Dota character, pop that in, and then just manipulate it so it looks the right way. We also want to give each one of these kind of like a unique color. I like red for Dota. It's a little bit more aggressive. Let's go like 1.5 thousand streams. for Dota. And then for the background there, we still have Rocket League. Why don't we put in one of our Dota images? It's real subtle. It's not like you really care, or like you can really see it too much, but you know, it matters to those people that it matters to. Let's do one more. Let's do our Warzone image here. So I'm going to move this around, and we got our main Warzone character. So we're gonna drag that into the image pane and do the same thing, kind of readjust and have him kind of hang over the edge there. Warzone, let me see. Let's make that's like kind of military. So let's do something a little bit like olive drab kind of color like that. And then we have a Warzone image that we'd want to drag onto the image section like that. We could do one more. You know, we could do something like, I think we have an Among Us thing up here. So let's just drag our little Among Us guy in there. Get some mobile gaming going on. And shrink that down. Doesn't have to be so big. Cool. Again, we're going to update this. Let's do something like purple for Among Us and a little bit of a brighter purple. And then let's grab that background, just toss that in, and we'll do Among Us. Okay, now we have lots and lots and lots of games that we could do, but why don't we just take these and just repeat a bunch of them like so, and then we'll group all of them together. Boom. So now they're kind of sticking off of our artboard. Now I'm going to take my artboard, my frame here, I'm going to drag it down so we're able to scroll and see everything. And then you'll see immediately when we go to prototype mode, we got some vertical scrolling that's going on here. And it says we need to have, like, our elements need to be, longer, or like extend past the constraints of our artboard. So why don't we just do something like this? And we'll put those back in there, make sure they're in the group. And now you can see prototype. We have no problem. We should have vertical scrolling. Let's check the prototype settings and put it inside of an 11 Pro Max device. And let's press play and see how this thing looks so far. Should be just a little bit of stuff so far. Nothing too fancy, but as we scroll, right, we get our navigation staying still, and then we have our elements. Now all we have to do is create a simple landing spot for our prototype when we click on one of these elements and shoot it over to like a new page. We'll just do one of them just to kind of like show what we could do. So this is the browse. Let's call this one the game page. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to get rid of almost all of these and just reuse them a little bit, but we'll get rid of the majority of them. And why don't we go kind of very immersive in this thing? Okay, so we're gonna get rid of everything, including we're gonna get rid of this nav because we don't need the nav, right? Okay, fun. We also don't need this thing, and I don't think we need this thing as well. And we will get anything out of here that we don't need. So let's get rid of our group and just put our game element inside. Okay, so get it out of the header. It should be there for us. Okay, great. We're going to bring these down, and what do we click on? We're going to click on Rocket League. So let me just steal my Rocket League car really quickly, and I'm going to go here to game and just pop that in there. Let's make it nice and big, make a little bit of space for it. Okay, fun. And then I don't know, we got to give it some kind of accent, right? So we're missing that blue, so I'm going to hit O for oval, draw an oval. And the fill of this thing is gonna be, I don't know, let's just pull a blue from the car. We could do that. And then let's add an effect, something like a layer blur. And when we just kind of like change this effect, we're gonna blur it out just like so, and use a command or control left bracket. I'm just gonna pop it behind, take the opacity of it down just a little bit, and then just stretch the size of this thing out. Again, let's blur it some more and take the opacity down. We'll just get a little fun little accent color behind our car, which is kind of fun, kind of cool. Okay, that part is done. I feel like we need a little bit more. Let's bring the opacity of that back up and down like that. Okay, let's name our game Rocket League like that. And then what did we say in here? We said that it had like a bunch of streams going on, so let's instead, let's just pop this right underneath. And I think our heading is inside of an auto layout. So it keeps kind of messing up. We don't need it to be inside of an auto layout now. Take that auto layout off. And let's just put like top 5 streams right here. And let's bring that red color back. So we'll just bring a little bit of accent there. And then I feel like we should give a little bit of a category tag here. So let's just put the word sports. And again, I'm going to use auto layout because this is the easiest way to make buttons and tags. I just grab something and hit Shift A to make an auto layout. My fill is going to be that red color. And then I'm just going to kind of make a little pill button kind of thing. So drag this out and make the spacing centered. And now we are set. I'm going to hit K for just resizing things. All right, and put our little tag right up above there. Give it a little bit of space. And now we can just drop a couple of streams in there. So let me get rid of this thing. And let's make a streamer card. All right, so we should have like lots and lots of different people streaming. This will just be the first one. And we will get rid of the color and bring the image all the way up. And I don't know why it is being so dark. Why is it being so dark? Because we still have our blending mode set in a weird way, right? Okay. So we actually, maybe we do need a little bit of a color, and we'll just do black and bring the opacity down. That way we can put this text on top of it and it doesn't like look super crazy. I'm going to take my avatar here. Let's zoom in and just drag and put a name here like Jennifer Watson. She's the one streaming this. Let's put Jennifer's avatar over here on the left hand side. Let's do another little piece of text here inside. Say how many people are currently watching. That would be like a cool stat to see, right? So let's zoom in, pop it right there. I don't know why it dropped it down so far down there. Let's get it back in there. And this should be white. And it should say 176 watching like that. We could put some iconography stuff in there if we wanted, but this works for us. And then let's actually drop a little bit of a tag in here that just says live. That'd be really, really easy. Center align the text. And let's just shrink this thing down a little bit. Our little live tag doesn't need to be so big. We're going to line it up with our avatar there. And there's our card. We have one card there. And now all we have to do is stretch out our artboard and make room because we're about to duplicate this thing and a couple of times. Now all we have to do is come in here with our Rocket League images and just shift all the images, and then we could shift the avatars and do that whole thing. Let's try a different image. Boom, something like that. And let's do this one too. Boom. So you got something like that. Let's do a really quick prototype and we should be ready just to present this thing. So let's come over to prototype mode and I'm going to click on my Rocket League. I'm going to say on tap, navigate over to game. We don't want instance. Let's do simple move in. It's going to move in from the left. It's going to ease out. And let's just try smart animating any matching layers. And before we go too far, let's hit P for pen tool and just make a really funky chevron here that we can turn white and increase the stroke. And then we'll be able to use that to lead back. It's a really, really ugly chevron, but we should be able to lead it back and go the other way and see how our prototype looks. So now we should be able to click, slide things over and slide things back. It's a little funky because it needs probably it needs a background layer. So instead of smart animating any of these layers, let's see what happens when we take that off. Yeah, that's a little bit smoother, right? So to the left and to the right. And that looks good. That looks good. How about we just make one of them move out though the other way? So that should be a little smoother. Ooh, almost there. One more. Sorry, move out the other way. That way. There we go. Move in, move out. a simple little gaming interface for us, and you can expand on this, have lots of fun with it, add in some animated GIFs or some Lottie stuff, do smart animation in between the objects and the elements. But that is a simple and easy little interface design just to get your juices flowing, your creativity flowing. Thanks so much for watching this tutorial, and thanks so much for supporting the channel. Again, check that link in the description to check out my Flexispot ergonomic chair that I'm using. And I hope you guys are having an amazing week. I hope you're designing amazing things. I hope you're making amazing things. And I hope that you're comfortable while you're designing those awesome and amazing things. So take care. I'll see you later.